The sun was sliding down the red edge of the sky when Carter Briggs rode slowly into Dry Willow, the town he once promised he'd never return to. His horse was tired, he was tired, and the memories waiting for him were heavier than the iron in his saddle. 8 years had passed since he'd left this place behind, 8 years of drifting from ranch to ranch, staying nowhere long enough to build a life, or long enough for his past to catch him. But the past always rides faster than a horse. Dry Willow wasn't the same. The windows were darker, the people moved quieter, and the ground itself felt like it carried fear. Carter could taste it in the wind. Sheriff Tate, once his closest friend, stepped out of the office and watched Carter with the same stern eyes he used to save for outlaws. "You're a long way from trouble," Tate said, though his hand hovered close to his holster. Carter shook his head and replied, "I didn't come looking for trouble, just work, and maybe something close to forgiveness." Tate sighed heavily, walking down the small wooden step. "Forgiveness ain't something men like us ask in words. We earn it in what we choose to do next." Carter understood. He'd been young, angry, desperate once, and that desperation led him to ride briefly with a man named Vance Mercer, a gang leader whose heart was made of rusted steel. Carter had walked away when he realized Mercer didn't just steal, he murdered, but walking away didn't erase the stain. Dry Willow remembered. Ella May remembered. She was the woman he once planned to marry, the only bright thing he ever wanted to protect. Now she lived in a small house with warm lamplight in the window, and a little girl who had Ella's eyes. Carter paused outside that house, feeling the years crash into him like a cold wave. Ella opened the door before he knocked. She stared at him, hurt, disbelief, and something softer all mixing behind her eyes. "You came back," she whispered. Carter nodded. "I had to." They talked quietly, painfully. She told him her husband had died fighting Mercer's gang months ago, trying to defend the people of Dry Willow. "He wasn't perfect," Ella said, "but he died brave." Carter lowered his gaze. "I'm sorry." Ella looked at him for a long moment before replying, "Sorry ain't enough to save this town." She closed the door slowly, and Carter walked away feeling like he'd been shot again. The next morning, the dust on the horizon shook with thunder. Mercer's men, 20 hard-faced riders, stormed into the street, their horses kicking up red dirt. At the front was Vance Mercer himself, scarred and smiling the cruel smile Carter remembered too well. "Well, look what the wind blew in," Mercer growled. "Carter Briggs, the boy who thought he could walk away from me." Carter stood his ground. Mercer's grin widened. "Sheriff Tate, you've got till sundown to pay double the tax you owe us. You don't." Dry Willow burns. With a roar of laughter, the Red Jacks galloped off. Tate cursed under his breath. "We don't have that kind of money." Carter looked down the street at the families hiding behind thin curtains, the little boys trying to look brave, the old ranchers tightening their fists helplessly. "Then we stand," Carter said. Tate shook his head. "They'll kill us," Carter answered softly. "If we don't stand today, then this town already died." By sunset, Carter had gathered every man willing to fight. They were farmers, ranchers, stable hands, none of them gunfighters, but all of them tired of living scared. Carter saddled his horse and rode to the front. Tate joined him. "You ain't sheriff," Tate muttered. Carter gave a faint smile. "Just a man trying to make right what he made wrong." The Red Jacks appeared again as the last light bled orange across the sky. Vance Mercer led the charge down the ridge, guns blazing before their horses even reached town. The battle exploded across Main Street. Ranchers took cover behind barrels, firing wildly. Tate stood in the open, firing steady, each shot shaking his arm but never his resolve. Carter rode directly into the heart of the storm, firing with calm precision, every bullet carrying the weight of 8 years of regret. Dust choked the air. Horses screamed. Windows shattered. Carter saw Ella dragging her daughter into safety, shielding her with trembling hands. He saw ranchers falling. He saw the terror Mercer had carved into this town. And then, through the haze of gunsmoke, he saw Mercer riding straight toward him, their eyes locked. "This ends today," Carter shouted. Mercer fired. The bullet sliced across Carter's ribs, hot and sharp. Carter clenched his jaw, raised his revolver, and fired a single shot. Mercer jerked, staggered, and fell from his horse, hitting the ground like a toppled statue. The rest of the Red Jacks scattered instantly, leaderless, terrified. The battle ended in seconds. Carter's vision blurred as he collapsed. He felt hands on Himala's hands. She pressed her palms to his wound, her voice breaking. Stay with me. You saved us. You saved all of us. Carter exhaled shakily. No, he whispered. We saved each other. Sheriff Tate crouched beside them, breathing hard, blood on his badge. Carter, you earned your forgiveness today. Carter smiled faintly. Didn't do it for that. Just didn't want to run from myself anymore. Dry Willow gathered around him, not with suspicion anymore, but gratitude. And for the first time in 8 years, Carter Briggs felt like he was home. Because a man can ride 1,000 miles trying to escape his past, but he only stops running when he chooses to stand for something bigger than himself. And that's the real redemption the West teaches. You can't change the mistakes behind you, but you can damn sure decide the kind of man you'll be when the sun rises tomorrow.